you purposely discourage the people around you? Of course not. But do you do it unknowingly? Watch this short video for an example of how one organization seems to be doing just that, and the unseen but costly consequences of doing so. I'm Bob Windover. A young friend of mine works for a national sorority. I'll call her Kate. One of her responsibilities is to develop curricula on topics ranging from self-esteem to campus safety to maintaining a healthy body image. And this content is presented then to members of the sorority across the organization's several hundred campus chapters. She's enjoyed the challenge and creativity of the work and is proud of the skills she's developed in doing so. But late last year, the sorority's marketing department decided that Kate was writing over the heads of her readers. In other words, they felt that the college students they served would not engage with the material unless the text was simplified. As a result, they've been dumbing down Kate's work before sending it out to chapters. Now, she wasn't consulted, they just kind of did that. Kate feels both insulted and disillusioned by this, as you might imagine. She's an accomplished writer, having earned both a bachelor's and master's degrees, and during her time in graduate school, she earned extra money working in the campus writing center, helping doctoral students with their dissertations. She's also wondering why the sorority is not placing more of an emphasis on writing skills with its members rather than reducing the rigor of what she produces. So, what's she doing now? Well, actually, she's looking for another job that will embrace her skills. Do you have a Kate in your organization? Perhaps more than one. I'm not just talking about writing skills here, of course. I'm talking about any situation where the person has become disillusioned because they feel their work is not being appreciated. Thankfully, most people take pride in their work. They strive to do their best and believe that they're making a contribution to the overall effort. But how would you feel if someone came along and said, hey, we think you're doing a great job, but we're also going to have someone else redo your work because we believe it'll be better that way? At first you might be pissed. After all, you might think, well, what's the point of my doing it in the first place? Then you might go further to, fine, if there's no point in trying as hard, maybe I just shouldn't. And finally, you might think, well, I guess it's time to look for a new job now that I don't have to work as hard on the project. Now, this is completely human nature, isn't it? In truth, I and maybe you would do the same thing. Now, no new boss does this kind of thing intentionally. They just don't take the time to consider how their decision might be perceived downstream. After all, it works for them, right? But with what evidence was this decision made about Kate's work, for instance? Did the marketing department assess the reading abilities of their college constituents? Did they survey faculty to confirm that young women lack the ability to read at an advanced level? Or maybe did someone just simply read an article stating that college students lack the reading persistence of past generations? So, what's the cost to the organization? Well, first, there will be turnover cost when Kate finds a better opportunity. Second, there's the lost expertise. Kate is highly capable. Is the sorority going to advertise for someone who does not need to write as well? And third, there's the morale issue. Kate can't help but talk to her coworkers, right, about this, not to mention those she knows within the entire Greek community. Not only will that have an impact on morale, it may taint the perception of those who might consider applying to the sorority when that organization posts new positions. So, what are the takeaways for bosses when it comes to making these kinds of decisions? Well, first, ask yourself, what evidence do I have to support this decision? Will I be able to refer back to this evidence if the decision is called into question or does not go as planned? Second, what's the downstream impact, not just for the individual or individuals affected, but for the organization as a whole? If the decision appears impulsive or even erratic, you may have a larger morale problem on your hands, even if the decision was actually reasonable. And finally, how can you best gather support and understanding and acceptance from those affected? You're the boss and you're perfectly within your authority to make the decision. But it sure helps when the people who are affected go along with it. How careful are you when making decisions affecting others? What process do you use to ensure this? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell so that you'll be notified when I post additional practical content just like this. I'm Bob Wendover.